My bad. I thought I was on mute. I'm like 2 seconds from I'm pulling in like my.
All right. 2 seconds too late, my friend. Let's get right rocking with it. All right, we're gonna dive in, guys, ladies and gents, for the day here. Welcome to our second NLG call. Good to see everybody, and excited to get a little bit more time with y'all here today. So we got some important moves and some updates to go around the horn with. So I will be having you send your notes to Ida Las Cuevas after this one. So take a lot of notes here on today. And specifically, I'm going to give probably half this call is going to be some reminders, some updates. Okay, I'm probably going to hit on that each and every single week just because there's a lot of moving parts here. And I want to just make sure everyone's in the loop with what's going on, when deadlines are. It's very easy if you don't have a planner and you're not tracking this stuff to lose track of what's due when and what you need to be on top of and get behind. And then we're also going to spend a little bit of time reviewing something that we've already all gone through this fall in NLG, but just going through the daily objectives again of each day and really making sure we hammer home as a team what's important for each day, the big 3 objectives. And Cassie, this is going to kind of piggyback off of our conversation a little bit earlier here as well. So first thing is let's go around quick around the horn. What's hot, what you appreciate? And let's keep it to like 15, 20 seconds or less, super fast here to save some time here on this morning's call. So we'll go around the horn and then we'll get things kicked off. Lindsay, you are first. And then we will go to Taylor. What's hot? What do you appreciate?
Oh boy. So what's hot? I'd say the weather. It's nice and cool in Gainesville today. And what I appreciate is my couch.
All right, cool. Let's go to Taylor and then we'll go to Nick.
So what's hot is I'm currently rushing for a business fraternity, so that's exciting. And then what I appreciate is Google Drive.
Cool. All right, let's go to Nick, and then we'll go to Juliana. Yeah, technology is great.
Wait, which Nick?
Dana, sorry. And then Juliana.
It's Dana.
Dana.
So what's hot? It's like 31 degrees here. So it's pretty nice, better than Miami, I'm not gonna lie. What do I appreciate? I appreciate the team. I appreciate, personally, I'm happy for myself for being able to not have to work with staff over the spring, but also I'm still involved with the team, still helping get it ready for the summer.
Yes, sir. All right, let's go to Juliana and we'll go to Adrian.
So what's hot is definitely our lists, our SMRA list and our sales rep list, just trying to make those as big and fat as possible. And then what I appreciate is just being able to do office functions, just the fact that I know I'm gonna have to do this for my own branch. So I really appreciate every time I get to do it just in the office for Metro Miami.
All right, let's go to Adrian. We'll go to Mason.
What's hot is getting some SMRA research and school research, SMRA recruiting done, a talk list. And then what I appreciate the Tampa market.
All right. That's an inside joke. All right, never mind. Just let's go to Mason and we'll go to Rochelle.
It's hot. I'm going back to Tampa this weekend for the Super Bowl. What do I appreciate? I appreciate Taylor's accent.
All right, let's go to Rochelle. I appreciate it too. Let's go to Rochelle and let's go to Joseph.
Cool. So what's hot is we just launched our first SMRA of the spring. It's taken some time to build up, so that's really exciting. And what I appreciate is just the Tampa team getting things organized, getting things into the groove.
All right, let's go to Joseph and we'll go to Cassie.
What's hot? I'm going to Chicago for the first time in 2 weeks, and I really appreciate the team, all the support.
All righty, some Chi-Town. Let's go to Cassidy and we'll go to Chloe.
So what's hot is exactly 2 weeks from now, I will be in Tampa officially with everybody. And what I appreciate is honestly, Rochelle and Audrey and Jess for just being there to support me and the Tampa team. You ladies freaking rock.
Hey, let's go to Chloe and we'll go to Nick Hernandez.
What's hot is definitely social media Jumpstart and getting to see some of the personalities in my territory. That's exciting. I would say I appreciate not only getting the influence of one great district manager, but now two with being in Alex's office. So I appreciate everything she's done for the Clearwater crew.
All right, let's go to Nick. Alex too. Let's go to Nick. We'll go to Anthony Marino.
Was hot. is realizing everything that you have to do and figuring out how to do it all. And then what I appreciate is my fried chicken that I have right here.
Nice. Let's go to Marino and we'll go to Ramirez.
So what's hot is that Anthony Mason and I are slowly and surely getting to find our place where we're staying this summer over the next 4 months. And then I appreciate snow blowers. We had 18 inches of snow in the last day and a half. So I appreciate snow blowers.
Yeah, no one on this call really knows what you're talking about, except maybe Kent State. But
I do.
New Jersey, good old New Jersey.
We're getting here tomorrow.
Oh man. All right, let's go to Ramirez and we'll go to Franklin.
Well, I was literally going to say the same thing that AJ just said about living together this summer. We're close to finding our place. Also, the Bucks going to the Super Bowl next week. And then what I appreciate is my roommates dealing with me yelling in my bedroom every day.
Awesome. Let's go to Franklin and we'll go to Rob.
Wait, yeah, can you hear me?
We can.
Okay, awesome. Sorry. So what's hot right now is I'm going back to Tampa like Mason for the Super Bowl. All my friends are coming with me, so that's gonna be really fun. And then grateful definitely for the cold weather. It's like 40 degrees up here in Tallahassee, so that feels amazing. So yeah.
Nice. All right, we'll go to Rob and then Jess. Wrap up with Audrey.
Awesome. What's hot? I'm in LA right now, and I appreciate our divisional development leader and my staff really getting in the groove for this summer. I'm really excited for that.
Yes, sir. All right, let's go to Jess and we'll go to Audrey.
What's hot is building my spreadsheet for my territory, really starting to cast vision now that I see the people that are in it. It helps with that. And what I appreciate is all my friends sending me books randomly in the past week. I've received like 10 book packages and I love that. So I appreciate that.
Nice. All right, Audrey, take us home.
Cool. What's hot is just getting back into the sales grind. Feels good. And I appreciate Cassidy.
Yes, ma'am. Making some startup moves. Love it. So we'll dive in here for the day, ladies and gents. First, start off by opening up your calendars. I want to give a couple friendly reminders here for some updates. So I'm going to go ahead and re-forward what I sent last week, which is where is it? 3, 2, 1. VCA key dates. So you want to make sure you're looking over this. Okay. And again, if you haven't taken the time to put all these in your planner, make sure that you do that after this call here. But let me go ahead and pull this up too while we're at it. And I'll screen share this real quickly so that we have it, and just be going over a couple key dates that are on this and some that are not on this document that I'm going to be hitting on. Okay. So again, everyone should have started on Social Media Jumpstart. I'm going to come back to Social Media Jumpstart here in just a second. But this Thursday is deadline for growth to success accounts that we will need to confirm on. So everybody, the default for branches and new DMs is going to just be 1. Okay. So outside of select people that may go out, and either if you're in a situation, number 1, where you have assistant managers going out to next summer, you're going to probably want more. If you're in a situation number 2, where you don't have assistant managers, but you do have extra startup, a little bit more than the average person in startup where you can afford to do it. And you also can get your hands on some other accounts. Okay. So also I'm going to remind you guys a little bit more today with the Social Media Jumpstart, but as much as we're making a second office account, if you go get your hands on someone that already has a pre-established account, whether that is a, girlfriend or your younger sister or your older sister or a friend that lives in that area that you're just cool with, or someone, an old SMRA that you could toss some cash to, something like that. If you can get your hands on another account, that will also help. And if you're a situation where, okay, cool, Andrew, now I have my friend that agreed to let me, be able to send a message off account for the summer, plus my office account and my account, then you could probably do like 2. Or potentially 3 or something like that too on growth to success. So the default for everyone is going to be 1. Please reach out to me if you're somebody that, if you're in a situation where you could potentially have more, and have a quick conversation with it just to make sure that it's aligned and is a good idea for you to do that this summer. And it might steer you towards it or it might steer you away from it depending on what your situation or scenario is too. So that's the first thing. Let's do this this Thursday, but default will just be 1 account for each person. A week from today, you got 1 week to kind of get this locked and loaded. Okay. February 8th is the deadline for college and high school summer break. So this is probably the big one on the list for most people, is making sure, number one, you're getting your list of schools. Second thing is, a lot of these don't have, they're not published online like they usually are. Okay, so a lot of them you're going to have to actually call these schools. Keep in mind, they're only open Monday through Friday during certain times in the day. So it might be a good idea to get some of this stuff, to have some time allotted in your schedule. This is not something that you can just kind of like do on Sunday night when you realize it's due Monday morning, or you're going to be turning in like a half empty spreadsheet, because not everything's going to be out there and online. So same thing on that level. I'm going to re-forward out what I've already sent into the chat, which again is, there's a template that has been sent to all of you all on exactly what to fill out here too. That was just sent in the group chat. So this is due next Monday, and it looks something like this. Okay. And it's got, your colleges. Some of you will have colleges in your territory. Some of you might not have any colleges. Most of y'all will have at least like a community college or something of the sorts. Public high schools and then private high schools. So if you have more than this, you can just expand and put extras here. Okay. But I'd get all the lists. Now, one thing that I would do, okay, that I was coaching some people on earlier, is to get your high school list. Number one, reaching out to the previous manager. Okay. If you are having trouble finding it, I might be able to help you a little bit with finding a list of schools in that previous area. If you're having trouble contacting the old manager, to get that list. Do not go off of what the manager sends you though. Make sure you do your own research through both Google, and I would also just use maps. Okay. So I'm just going to pull up Sarasota just as an example here. But if I type in here, I type in high school. Okay. I should be able to pull up different, like all these different high schools that are in the area. And some of these will show up on the normal list and some of them won't. The other thing too is it will pop up a list here, but if I kind of move around, whoops, and like kind of search different ones, different schools are going to start to pop up as I zoom in, in different areas. So just going through and making sure, again, some of these are small schools. You can usually tell just by the outside of it, but there should be other things like, okay, cool. All these different, a lot of the private schools will not be on public listings because they're independently affiliated. So just kind of going around, searching high school. Some of them will pop up as middle school. Then I would just type in, maybe just school in general and see what kind of pops up there too. And then ignore so this one wasn't there before. This is an elementary school, or it might be a bigger school, but you get the idea. So I'll do this for your respective territory or market here as well. And then make sure you just fill out that template with your school dates and graduation times. One of the main things that you really want is last day of classes. So, if anyone needs, by the way, just communicate, because I realize, everyone's gonna be in different situations depending on what area you're in and the counties. Some counties already have everything locked and loaded. Some counties, you're gonna need to call through to get the information. Some counties you're going to call like 5 of the schools, and it's going to become quickly evident that none of the graduation dates are released and they don't even have a plan yet. That might be the case for some of you all. So if that is the case, okay, don't message me Monday morning at 9 a.m. and tell me, hey, I couldn't figure it out. But again, message me once you call sometime this week and Sunday if you're having trouble with it. And if there's certain situations, like there might be a couple of you all where you're going to submit your list, and it needs to have all of your schools on it, and probably at least the last day of classes and the basic information, like the phone numbers for the schools, but you might not be able to get all the information on them. So we might have you submit like it, and then you have to like check in on like 2 or 3 weeks and do some follow up to wrap up and get this list here. But main thing you really want is last day of, like, graduations used to be a lot more important because we'd actually go to most of the high school graduations and go do active advertising. That probably won't be happening very much at all this year. So the main thing is just knowing, when do your students get out? When do your private schools get out? When do your public schools get out? When does the recruiting market for high schools really start? And you have a list of all the schools that you can recruit from, for SMRAs in your territory. That's what I'm mainly concerned about, okay, for this. So just in case anyone, I kind of already have the feeling that some of you all are going to struggle to get some of these graduation details right now because they might not all be logistically worked out with the mess that has been high schools this year. And counties doing things differently. So if you do, just make sure you're communicating, go back and forth with me. We can talk about it. and no worries on that end, but expecting everyone to submit something and submit at least a list of all of your schools in your territory with the basic info and last day of of classes, which should be available for pretty much everyone, a month into the spring semester. They have to have a pretty good idea of when they're wrapping things up here with it. So that's one thing. Going back to the dates here. Okay. So that's due when?
February 8th.
The 8th.
Monday. By what time?
9 a.m.
9 a.m. 9 a.m. So really do Sunday night, but you have till the morning on Monday, 9 a.m. That's when we'll be doing official attendance with it here. Okay, February 14th, which is February 15th is really the date. But I would just say by management prep, you want to pretty much be done with social media jumpstart and hitting the first benchmark, which is being at how many total by February 15th?
Is it 500?
500. Yep. So everyone, okay, I'm going to go ahead and forward. Actually, I'm going to go to social media jumpstart here in a second and talk about best practices, but everyone should be close to really 200 is where you should be by now to be on pace. Now I'm not holding people. There's 4 benchmarks. Okay. So I will be pretty on top of people once we start coming to these benchmarks. Right now, you still have really 2 weeks to make moves here. Okay. So if you haven't done anything yet, you got to start like ASAP. And, if you're making some progress and headway, it's just going to make, again, I wouldn't try to like load this all up on yourself. The more you can get in habits of like, just carving out time to do this. And by the way, one thing I would just suggest in your schedules is like, just like anything else, if it doesn't get scheduled, it doesn't usually get done, so just like having time where, maybe just choosing an hour on Tuesday and an hour on Friday morning, or an hour on Monday, an hour on Thursday, where you just have that time in your schedule, like it's a class, same time every single week, that it's just dedicated towards branch preparation. And, maybe you allocate 6 to 7 after these calls for that time period. And you just use that time to start making some headway on social media and, following up on any assignments that might need to be done. And some weeks you won't need the whole time. Some weeks you might need to schedule a little bit of extra time, but just having something buttoned up in the schedule that's allocated time to do this. So it actually gets, prioritized as you get down there. Office search will not really happen. So you guys can pretty much skip up that one. I have some updates on startup because a lot of you guys have been asking, and then getting ready to build up to March Madness here as well. The only other things for you guys to maybe know and put into the schedule is going to be on February 24th, there will be a division meeting to kick off the March Madness push. And we've all talked about how important this push is going to be to set up the success for our summertime. So for every single person, just for the culture of the division that people are starting in, for the way our reps are progressing, from giving you a last little push and just creating some momentum divisionally for us for the summertime, the success of our 3 district offices during this push is going to impact and influence the success that your offices and our entire division is going to have going into the summertime too. So we really need everyone all out and stepping into a role of leadership to lead the way, either through personal sales or for supporting a team, or for even just little things like engagement and culture, inside of the actual group chats here as we go into that push here. So we'll have a division meeting from 4 to 6:30. That would, Cassidy, that will take place of the team meeting on that Wednesday. So there won't be a team meeting that night. It will just be the division meeting, and then kick off into a phone jam with maybe a little bit of a 15-minute, kind of team building exercise at the end of the night or something like that, fun to kind of close out the night. But that will be on the 24th, and then March Madness starts on the 1st. Couple other little reminders here is March, 19th, 20th, and 21st will be division kill meeting. Okay, that will be a live event. So if you are in Tallahassee, you will 100% need to come down south. So I'd allocate and plan on that for that weekend. You'd probably have to come down you might be able to drive on Friday. What we'll probably do is start like midway through the day on Friday, or start like late afternoon, or start early afternoon, maybe like 2 or 3 o'clock on Friday, going to the evening, have a full day on Saturday, and then we'll probably do a fun day on Sunday. So I'm looking at, we'll either be in hotels for that, or we'll be in a Airbnb setup thing that I'm looking at. So we'll see. Either way, should be a really good weekend. So just plan on having that. Caps will happen. Our one-on-one meetings will start happening kind of coming out of that meeting, the division kill meeting. And then summer kickoff is April 10th. Okay, so that's a meeting that everyone needs to have buttoned up in their schedule. And we'll probably also have an AM divisional day the day before summer kickoff on the 9th, or the day after summer kickoff on the 11th for the division assistant manager development. If any of you all remember that from last year that you went to as an assistant manager, actually, we didn't really have it last year because it kind of got jacked up a little bit with like the COVID stuff when it was starting. But usually we do have that prep meeting that happens there as well. Adrian?
Is the prep meeting in Miami or Tampa?
TBD right now, TBD. I'm looking at, like I said, I'm looking at some Airbnb.
I can help you look at some in Miami.
Cool. Maybe find some in Hawaii. I've looked at options. I've got some in Miami. Well, I don't know. Would you guys rather go do one in Miami? Everyone's saying Miami right now.
100%.
I'd rather not
go
drive.
to Miami too, by the way.
We went to Tampa for TLA. It's their turn to come down.
Hey, you guys have it good, man. Before COVID, we were driving to Miami every other month for something.
Exactly why we should do Miami. Another reason.
Yeah, so we've done everything on the West Coast here for the past year. I do lean towards having this one in Miami right now, but I'm also just looking at. It depends where we can find. I'm going to look at Airbnbs. I'm trying to I don't want to promote this yet because I don't know if it's confirmed. We might be in a hotel, in a conference room, and just having hotel rooms. But if I can, I'm trying to get a nice little Airbnb somewhere close to the water or something like that. Post up and just do the meeting from there with like a nice little, I don't know, baller little setup. So that would be fun. So I'm looking at, it might not even be Miami, Tampa. We might do something like Sarasota or the West Coast on like some of the islands over there or something like that too. But it will be a location that everyone can come down to and over to. I will keep you guys posted on that one here as we get a little bit closer to it too. So any other questions on dates, calendar stuff, any of that stuff? All righty. Couple other quick updates here for all of you all. DMCs, you guys did skills checks with Eddie last week. Heard great feedback on these, and really use Eddie. Eddie is doing skills checks. Part of it's assignments and accountability. Also, it's part of it's support too. So just know that like that's a good person to bring. Even also questions that maybe you don't want to ask me to, just different things. He's been a branch, he's been an assistant, he's been a district. So this is someone that you can get a lot of perspective and advice from. So part of it is making sure you're coming prepared and doing well with those skills checks. Just so you guys know, Eddie's like, I'm very in the loop with everything. So I'm still getting like feedback. I have feedback from every single one of those calls. So I know exactly how they went and Eddie's grades that I kind of gave you for each and every single category. And just, be able to lean on those calls too. And he'll be able to give you feedback and stuff like that you guys can like work on and talk about just so as extra support that's happening there. But BMCs, I believe most of you all have already scheduled. You all will be this upcoming week will be our branch manager candidate. So that will happen. And then TBD on what's to come after this week. We're going to start off with this round. So branches, the same thing that everyone else was quiz on last week, which is PR calling, post interview, and then just some demo fundamentals and some skill set stuff here. So that will continue to happen. Other updates and things for you guys to be aware of. AM onboarding is officially happening. So if you do have assistant managers, just for the select few of you all, they should have already submitted their applications. If they didn't, get those in ASAP. So I put my email there, but it's mainly for you. I'm only doing the assistants in our office. So this week you should have a conversation with those people, kind of like a interview / acceptance call, where you talk to them about it, ask them a couple of questions from their application, build up, the position and opportunity, and then officially accept them for the role. And then from there, it's just giving them a little bit more direction on probably social media Jumpstart, what you're going to be doing this spring, and then get them ready to rock and roll for the divisional training calls that will start next Tuesday. If you have scoop up AMs or people you're kind of talking to, still time to work on those. The official for them, it's not till March. So getting them involved, getting them set up for March Madness, getting them on the next February opportunity call. Those are all good moves that you can be making here in the meantime. And then I just want to also give you guys a quick update on the, what's it called? Let's see. I want to give you guys a quick update on startup situations. Okay. So everyone knows exactly what the levels and startup will be for everybody. So if you want to write this down, okay, it will be, so it's first, there's 3 levels to it. Okay. 3K is the first level, 3K in startup. Okay. For a branch or new DM that does not have any lease, office lease. That's the first level. Okay. Next level is, so 6K for a BM and new DM that has a lease with a third party, meaning WeWork would count for that. They have some sort of office lease, primarily WeWork. It can't be a lease with like another manager, like if you're working at a Mike's office or something like that too. But WeWorks would be included in this too. And then 4,500 for a BM or new DM who will occupy space of another manager and pay them rent. Okay. $4,500 level for startup would also apply to a branch who is sharing space with another branch who submitted a lease. So in that scenario, the BM submitting a lease would get, the BM that has a lease would get 6K. The BM paying rent to that BM would get $4,500. Not exactly perfect on what we're looking for, but I think with this direction, I think a big move for a lot of people is probably number 1 is the WeWork and looking at that because it's a temporary lease. And most of y'all that only cost a couple, $100 for the, it's like $400 for most people per person for the summertime. And I would just encourage you to go there and check out the spaces. So like that might be all that you need. If there's lots of people working, you guys might go together, make it like $500, $600 a month or something like that. And then also have a actual space or something like that you can work out of. So let me take some questions here, Mason.
Yeah. So me, Anthony, and Anthony, we weren't going to get an office space. We were actually getting like a house and living in like a house. And it was going to be, we're going to have a home office and that was going to also be our place to stay. And it was going to be us 3 creating like a bubble, which would be more expensive than the WeWorks. But would we be like 6K or would we be 4,500? Or neither. Would we not even be that?
Yeah, this is all the information I have right now. Honestly, Scott just gave us this like a couple of days ago. So I do want to follow up on that. I'm not sure if anything is going to change there. From my understanding, Mason, as it stands now, I don't think the company is approving the extra startup for like home or like personal like leases and stuff like that too. Well, so that's just something I'm a big proponent of that and in support of that. And I was pushing for that. I just don't think that's the direction that the company has gone with. So, one-on-one situation, I'm going to run by and kind of communicate with Scott, and I'm on y'all side with this too. I obviously support that. I've actually suggested that to some of you all, but I don't think that situation would merit the extra startup if you don't have a office lease per se.
Well, then it kind of makes sense to do what we're already doing and then just get a WeWorks thing for a couple $100 a month and just profit the extra startup. Kind of. Yeah.
Might make sense to do that. Yeah. I'll keep you guys posted on that. So anyways, let me give those updates. I just want to run that by. I know there might be some questions and clarity on that too. So there's still a little bit of clarity that I need to get on my end, and I'll run that by to you. But I know some people were asking for updates, so that is the official update that I have as of a couple of days ago, where the company is at with that stuff. So, yep. And keep in mind that is money that will be distributed to you. So, anyone that is getting leases, this is why you want to have startup too, because the official startup will not be released until you have until your office is officially up and running and opening. Okay. So anything that's like expenses that you're incurring like in March or April or something like that too, or if you're getting an extra like lease somewhere or putting down a security deposit on something, like keep in mind the company is not going to give you the startup to cover that. That will only be after your office is opened up and usually gets released at the very beginning of May. Okay, so just know that if you're trying to do something like that too, those expenses that are happening as you're opening your office or moving for the summer or something else like that too, you got to be able to cover those, and then that money will get distributed in May. There's a small portion that is taken out for the texting center out of startup, and pretty much everything else is going to you and cash, and will get released through commission statements as the summer gets rolling. So, any questions on that?
My only other question was if there was like numbers wise of like how much startup for those brackets, if that's already made.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Like the startup, the different startup, like the 4,500, 600, like this, like how much startup?
Does anyone understand Adrian's question?
I'll text you after. Don't worry about it.
And then is there a difference with senior branches getting extra like $1,000 and
Now, yeah, as a senior branch, you do get an extra $1,000, or I think is that 1,500?
Is it the same? I think it's 1,500. Is it the same for DM?
1,500. That's aside from this startup package, so that's separate. Cool. All right, I'm gonna move on here. I'll send you guys some additional communications on this. I just wanted to give you some update because I know a lot of people have been asking for it. So that's the update that I had for you. And I know there's some other details I just need to get some clarity on here too. So I'm gonna add that to my list here. All right, last few things that I want to go over is before we dive in here for the day of what I want to hit some time on teaching is going over I'm going to re-forward out. This is as of noon today. Actually, this is updated with some of the numbers. So I'm going to forward this out real quickly into the group. 3, 2, 1. Okay, and if you want to go ahead and look at this, I will share my screen. Okay, these are the updated standings of social media benchmark as of now. Now, I think there's a couple of you, like I know, let me see real quickly here. Where are you? Mason says 0 for you. I know you have 400, something like that on the spreadsheet, but you just, like if it's on the spreadsheet, that's what I'm telling these off of. So you got to make sure that it's updated on the divisional spreadsheet and you're keeping track of the numbers on there specifically. So if yours aren't reflected on here or not accurate, it's probably because it's not on the right sheet. So you need to make sure that you do that. And shout out to Rob, Gelsis, and Tyler, and Jess, and Lindsay, plus Mason's an update on here too. But for leading the way right now, all being over 200 plus. So some of you all just already at the well above the first benchmark. So nice work leading the way. Everybody else got to make some moves. I'm not going to be too hard on anyone as of now because there's still time to do this. Like the first benchmark is still 2 weeks out and you got 15 days. So you're not even, it's fine. You can totally make up for this. However, if you're still in red next week, keep in mind, like next Monday, you're going to have 5 or 6 days to work on this before it's due. Okay. So realistically, most people should be at 500 by next Monday, or like 400 to 500, that range, so they can close out, next week. But you got to start making moves and putting this time into your schedule to actually get this done if it's not getting done already. Any tips or best practices from Jess, Lindsay, Rob, Rochelle, Rob, Gelsis, Tyler, Mason, anything that you guys are doing right now that's supporting with this? Yeah, Rob.
Yeah, just a trend, like since I've been here, since I started college, is really just treating it like a class. Like just put it into your schedule to like 3 times a week, 4 times a week, and just treat it like one of your classes. Makes it really easy.
Yeah, I mean that's it. That's like the main. I mean, Rob used to do. I mean, by the way, you guys can quickly see most of those people are all. It's all people that have run an office before, because they all know exactly how this works. And by the way, they're also all used to it being a lot more work with Facebook. That's probably part of it too. Is that it used to be a lot busier of a workload to try to get this stuff done, but you just got to make sure this is prioritized, guys, in the schedule. If it's not in the schedule, it's not going to get done. So that's one of the big things. Any other tips from anyone that's making some progress on this right now?
Just to piggyback off of what Rob said, like I've just been doing it every day. So like I have 30 minutes minimum a day that I do it. And that way there's at least something being done every single day. So it's like tiny actions daily. Mike preached about this for like the entire time I've been here. So the little bits all add up. And then I also enrolled my sister to help me do it. Like I've been enrolling like all my friends since I started here that I want to branch. So I texted all of them like my little picture, and a bunch of them wanted to reach out and see what they could do to help. So I was like, honestly, if you want to help me fill out this spreadsheet, I won't say no. And they helped a little bit. I spent a lot of time doing it, but just scheduling.
Cool. Yeah, couple quick comments on that. It depends. You do you, right? So some of you all will work best by taking a 3-hour block and just crushing this, just going hard on it for a couple hours. Other of you all, it looks like, 30 minutes here, 30 minutes there, 30 minutes here, just kind of being consistent with it too. Whatever works, but you got to have something in the schedule, number one. Number two, I think there's some power in I think a lot of these people that are on this call right now that have some serious results have other people that are helping them with it. So enrolling others can be good. And I also just want to caution some of you all, do not have somebody do this all for you completely. Part of this is like, yes, they can help you add more names, but they're not going to be intentional like you are. By the way, for the record, Growth to Success can do all this for you as well. They can just source people as well. The value and why that we're taking time to do this is so you can be intentional about them. So, yes, go down the school rabbit hole, but also go look up your best people. Find who the best recruits are in your market and school. Like, let me just give you guys an example. And I would make sure you kind of have some of these websites down. But one of them is going to be like maxpreps.com. Okay, this is how you find all the athletes in your area and school. So, being able to go on here and this might take me a couple seconds. Let's see if I want to search for a team, and I'm going to put in Belen Jesuit. And great, and not everybody's going to be on here, but cool. I go to the varsity team and I can click on, let's see here.
Roster being like the left side.
Thanks, Mason. Roster, cool. So I can go on here and I can see, who all are the players on the team. And I will be looking these people up on Instagram and having them on here. Certain ones, by the way, update their max prep. Some will not even have anything on there. Some will have all the data. Some will have who's the captain, who's the best player, what the records are. I would also just look up just Google, things like Miami High School valid. I don't know, valid. I don't even know how to spell. How do you spell valedictorian? So, all right, cool. I can see, boom, class of 2019. I'll be able to find different people. All right, cool. All the best students in my area and location, local newspapers. Are there awards? Are there scholarships that have been given out too? Looking up that kind of data, who's got just the most followers in your area, in your city too. Again, if you can just focus on, this is where you want to be targeted of who are the best people in my market that if I can recruit them, I will get everybody else. That's kind of how you want to be thinking about this. So yes, find girls that have over 1,500 followers as some candidates, but try to be intentional about this as you do it too. That's the difference is don't just get people on the list just to do it. Be intentional about it too. Yeah, exactly. And I love that you guys are posting some things up in the chat. So I'm not going to hit on that anymore. Next week, we need the whole group to be at least over 300. Okay. And most of y'all should be sitting around 400, 500 already and be making some way and some progress on this one here as well. Let's see real quickly here. All right. We're going to dive into some coaching and teaching. Is there any other questions on social media stuff? Actually, one more point is next, I'm going to record a video that's going to get sent out to the region here in just a little bit on some social media jumpstart stuff. And this video will go out to our division as well. That will give you guys a little bit more direction on what to start doing with your social media pages now. So give me hands up if you've made the social media page, your second Instagram page. All right, great. And I've already said this before, but again, the purpose for the second Instagram page is so that you have an additional account as to get out more messages, as well as just a backup in case anything ever happens to your own account. You never know with Instagram. So having a backup account and a second account, still, I will say this again, if you can get your hands on another account, it is good and it's worthwhile. That will probably get you better results than the office account, by the way, too. So we're still making these and everyone's still going to make one, but if you can get your hands on one, I would. Jelsis?
I wanted to ask for the SMRA and PR list, like since we're following them as we add them, do you recommend that we do that with our personal or with the new one to get our following up?
I wouldn't do it in the office account. So, and typically here's how I'd recommend you do the office account. This is going to be a little bit of my video. I would work on just getting followers first. Meaning I would just try to get 1,000 followers, just like random followers of anybody, friends, family, like whoever, it doesn't even matter. It's just kind of like credibility followers before you start trying to get all the followers in your respective market. Does that make sense to everybody? Because once you start, like, again, if you follow all these people, like if I'm in Sarasota, for instance, and I follow all these people in Sarasota, and I have no followers, a lot of those people in Sarasota aren't going to follow me back. Okay. Because I have 100 followers and they have no friends that follow me or whatever. It looks like a fake, it just looks bad. Okay. So I'll try to get the baseline credibility after they get like of 1,000 followers. So it looks like a credible account, and then start diving in, following a bunch of people in my market and territory. So to answer your question, Jelsis, follow them on your personal account. I wouldn't follow them on the office account right now. Cool. All right, gang, we're going to go ahead and dive in here. And I want you guys to take some aggressive notes on this. Okay. And we're just going to dive through. This is a review from Brian Hurlman's talk from SLC, which we also went through and watched at one of our NLG preps earlier this fall. And the talk was titled Day in the Life. And he was just going through I just took these slides directly out of his message. What are the big 3 objectives of each and every single day? So I think one of the big things that you want to focus on as a branch, and I've had a couple conversations with people, my 3 calls that I had today with certain people, we literally have the same thing in every single one of these calls, which is like, it's just elegance and simplicity. Okay. So first things first is I know some of you all are working in offices where your managers have, tested different things or tried new programs. There's always some of that going on in district offices, some testing of new things, some new programs, new systems. And we have one of the most innovative, management teams in the company, which is a really strong point of our division. And a lot of times with innovation, there can come the downside of like people not knowing what is the best practice, because things are always innovating and changing. Okay. So one thing that I'll just tell you guys right now is that we 100% will be all on the same divisional page. Like we'll be on the same page this summer. Part of the reason why Eddie has been moved into his role is to support in that. And he is creating a giant drive of every single document and system that we have. So every single person is always on the same page. There'll be a lot of direction be given out, but, and that's just one thing too, is like everyone's going to need to be on the same page. Everyone's going to be doing the same post interview. Everyone's gonna be running the same interview. Everyone's gonna be running the same training. Everyone's gonna be running the same advanced training. Everyone's gonna be on the same page with anything. If someone wants to do something else, that's fine. But you won't be getting support from me or any coaching or support from the division this summer if you're choosing to do something different than what everyone else is in the division is going to be doing this summer too. It's just the best way. There's too many people here to, number one, have people just not on the same page and everyone doing everything. Also for me, for a manager, like if I don't know what you're doing in your office, I can't diagnose the problem and I can't really help you or offer you support if you're doing things that like are in line with the division. So part of it is just to have some across the board, some accountability, and also it's just simplicity. I want to make sure things are simplistic. These are the kind of like when you're in rep and in training. If we said if you're in training and you were learning the rep manual and you're like, hey, you can do it this way, but you can also do it this way. And, you could close this style, or you could also close this way, do what you feel like, no rep's going to go out there and have success. That's why it's like, hey, follow the manual. It's a proven program. You just read this sucker for your first couple, weeks in the job, and then you're going to be off the races. Eventually you're going to make it a little bit more your own. Same thing with as a manager, guys. There's certain things and objectives each day. And I'm just telling you right now, the branch, clock will never shut off ever. That's the life of running a business and being a business owner, is that there's never a time where you cannot be doing something that could be impacting your business. Okay. It can be 10 o'clock at night and there's still going to be a list of things that you could probably do that would impact your office. Okay. Now there will always be lots of stuff. What's important is, am I focusing on the right stuff? Am I focusing on the stuff that matters? Am I focusing on the stuff that actually creates results? It always blows my mind when they're like, all right, I'm like, Andrew, I'm really having trouble with my team. They're not selling right now. And then I'll be like, well, how many SMRAs do you have? Oh, I don't have any. Or, I haven't launched any. Well, all right. Well, how many PRs did you set last week? 8. And it's like, why are we talking about your sales team? We should be talking about recruit. Your sales team is irrelevant. You've got 10 people on your team. None of them are selling, and you don't have recruiting going in your office. Like there can be nothing. There's no workshops. There's no team meetings. There's no PDI that needs fixing. Recruiting is what needs fixing, because before that happens, nothing else matters. So again, and you could literally spend the whole day talking to the sales team and doing all these other things, that aren't even actually impacting and moving the needle in your office. So it's just important to know what are the most important things and objectives of each day. And this is going to be, mostly a little bit of a review, but I'm going to probably hit on this again next week, probably again the week afterwards, just so everyone is really getting this drilled into you on, all right, cool. And you really know it. And I would take some avid notes on this, so you have these notes going into the summer. So in the summer, when you're like, hey, Andrew, it's 10 a.m. on Tuesday, I'm kind of overwhelmed. What should I be working on? Well, you can go back to these notes and say, all right, well, here's a pretty good idea of what's important right now, what's important for today, what I should be working on here. So biggest thing is just accomplishment versus activity. First thing Brian talked about in his actual message is like, he references a story when his pilot sales manager, came home and he's like, hey, how was today? And he's like, oh, today was really good. And he's like, yeah, what was good about it? And then he's like, oh, it was just a really great day. We crushed it today. He's like, well, what'd you get done? And then he's like, well, like he just started talking about, I ran this meeting, I did this. And then Brian was like, no, Jeremy, like what did we get done? Like, what did we accomplish? And he's like, I don't know. Okay. He's like it's very easy to do that in our business, where it's just like, focus on like, I did a lot of work versus like, what did we accomplish? Like, what were the benchmarks? Like, what did we do? So one of the best practices that we'll have this summer is I'll probably have you all start sending, this is something that I'll have you guys do go in the summer, some of your big 3 every day before 8 a.m. What allows me to do is give you guys feedback and direction on each day, and also put you in the mindset of like, really, what is the most important things to be making? I was just talking to Cassidy earlier today, and I'm going to start doing that with her a little bit. And, just making sure like they're all objective based, right? When you have big 3 for the day, then it's not like, all right, cool, it's a Tuesday, so I'm going to, I'm going to set some PRs today. I'm going to do a PDI today. And, I want to get some extra sales on the board for Tuesday. It's like, yeah, like no shit. Like that's what we do every Tuesday. It's like, yeah, I know that's what you're doing. It's like, but what are the objectives? What are you trying to get done? It's like, cool. We're at 10 PRs for the cycle. And he wants to get to 20 PR. I want us to get to 30 PRs for the cycle today. So I'm going to set, 5 personally, and I need my SMRAs to get 15 set for today. Objective number 2 is I'm going to do PDI today, and I want to get 20 people confirmed for the team meeting tomorrow night. So I have at least 17 or 18 in attendance as well. I mean, the last thing is I want to do is I want to make sure we at least have, 2 or 3 grand up on the board. So as a couple people will recognize that are already hitting the newsletter before we go into the Wednesday team meeting. That's an one thing that you can measure at the end of the day and say, hey, everything else could go to crap. Everything else, you might not get to anything else on your list. But if I accomplish these 3 things, it's going to be a good day. That's kind of how you want to be thinking about this in perspective wise. So we'll dive in here real quickly. And first thing we'll start off is with Sunday meetings. So I'm going to move this out of the way. Okay. And I'm probably not even going to get to all of the days on this list. We'll probably just go for the first couple, and then we'll piggyback off of this going into next week. Okay. But Sunday, one of the most important things that I think about that needs to happen on Sundays is your fast starter influence. Okay, your fast start influence, meaning you just launched a training class. Nothing blows my mind more, okay, than when people and managers, we work the whole week, starting on Thursday to basically start recruiting, SMRA launch, interviews, game set for training, running training for 14 hours straight, okay, and then being like, Saturday, Sunday starts, and then it's like, yeah, I don't know, I gave up on my reps already. So you just work 7 days to recruit those people and train them. Give the people the energy and attention they deserve. Saturday's important too, but Sunday's oftentimes one of our biggest sales days coming out of the weekend, if you're setting up the right way. So whatever you're doing in your office on Sunday, I think about, number 1, as you get busier into the summer, like when we get into pushes, Sundays get busy, so there's got to be some sort of energy or tension that goes into your team on PDI on Sunday mornings. If you go to church on Sundays, maybe 4 after, if you go to, whatever you do on Sundays, if you sleep in a little bit, but there's got to be some outgoing to the team and making sure that you were touching base with your reps throughout the day as they're doing demos on Sunday. Again, it's just never a healthy idea for reps to go 4 or 5 demos in a row without speaking with you, especially in their first weekend. And a lot of reps are going to have 4 or 5 demos lined up on their Sunday. Easy way to kill a fast starter is have them do solid on Saturday, have them do 5 demos in a row on Sunday without talking to you. And then, good luck having them show up to Monday advanced training there too. So making sure there's some Sunday fast starter influence. Objective number 2, okay, is making sure that you have a strong SMRA kickoff meeting. Okay? So this is something that I'll send you guys. We'll review a little bit more. Jeff Gamboa as the ERP or whatever is the Eastern Region Development Program Coordinator, okay, has created some slides and templates that people can use to support with this. So we'll have these available for the summertime, but really making sure that you're kicking off your meetings strongly. I think that's one thing too, is like, hey, your SMRAs are also reps. Alex gave a talk on or there are people that are working on your team. You still have to manage them. You still have to coach them. You still have to give them direction. And that Sunday meeting is the most important meeting that you're going to do for your SMRA program. It's a half an hour little mini team meeting for them to be able to, hey, recognize the girls. Hey, here's who's crushing it. Here's who set a lot of PRs last week. Results. Here's who on point. Here's who's not as much. Here's who needs some serious work this week. And really just giving a lot of recognition, your chance to do promos and contests and things like that to drive the results, for the upcoming week happen on that day as well. I mean, the last thing is actual phone jam execution. And, I think the big thing is making sure that they have their demos booked for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Specifically, on Sundays during the summertime, how many demos should the average person be leaving the phone jam with? I would say 5. Okay. And I know that might seem low, but I think if you can be averaging 5 per head on a Sunday, that's a solid number. If you're doing well, 6 or 7 during pushes, all day phone jams, you want that average to be a lot higher, because we want people arriving with 10, leaving with 20 for a lot of those ones too. So that is a higher standard, but outside of that, the average Sunday, can you get 5 average per head on a Sunday? I think that's going to be a good benchmark. And if you can check off those boxes on Sunday, you're going to have pretty solid results here. Okay. Now, before I even go over to Monday, let me do a little pop quiz here. Okay. Who can tell me maybe one thing that would be important on your Monday execution? Yeah.
AT1 social hour.
AT1 social hour. Cool. What else?
SMRA kickoff.
An SMRA kickoff meeting. All right. So shift kickoff. What else? Adrian? Rob?
Recruiting. Going for Magic Monday.
Wait, Adrian, what do you mean by recruiting?
You just set up a shit ton of PRs on Sundays, so making sure you execute interviews and just recruiting in general. That was always my big 3 on Monday.
Signing 10.
Yeah. Probably, yeah, make sure there's some numbers behind it too. But
I
yeah,
was gonna say,
recruiting in general. And I'm
yeah.
giving you guys the generic numbers because the numbers might change, to Adrian's point, based off your situation in the middle of the summer, right? But yeah, recruiting is going to be one of the biggest focus going to Monday. Is anyone else going to add some other things here?
Champions Club, and then since the fast starters are finishing, making sure they're just transitioning to sales.
Yep, Lindsay.
Potential day 4, day 11 PCs.
Cool. Potentially getting a head start on those. Rochelle?
I know from his talk, he said staff meetings on Monday, but for us, we do them on Tuesday. So I don't know if that's applicable.
Yeah. So let me dive in here a little bit here. Okay. So, and one other thing I wanted to I missed on Sunday before I leave it. Okay. Is look, I think just a couple other things that I'd put under phone jam execution, by the way. I just want to come back to these real quickly. Is I write these 2 things down. Number 1, can I average a minimum of 5 demos ahead? Okay, this is what I would call executing a phone jam at a high level on a Sunday. Am I averaging 5 demos ahead? Is 80% of my team in attendance? Okay, I think this is a big one for Sundays. It's not just a demo problem, but it's a very strong culture problem. If you promote anything that you promote and there's no follow through on is always a bad sign. It's just a bad thing. It's almost better to not promote it. Just tell people, hey, you don't have to come on Sundays if you're not going to get people there on Sundays. But if you're going to have that as a meeting in your office, 80% attendance needs to be there, including people that are out of town. I'm not talking about 80% of what you could print out. I'm talking about 80% of your team. You know, if I got 20 people on my team, I need to have 15 people there on Sunday. And the last one is just like, what can you, like, I would just be thinking about, again, what can you do to make sure this person is excited to come back to meetings moving forward? Think about the representative experience. That also would go into execution. Is this going to be something where they are excited to show up on Wednesday now and Sunday next week? Or is it something that they're like, damn, that was awful. I'm going to dread this every single week now. You know, what are you doing to make it fun? Is it lively? Is it exciting? That's something else I'd be thinking about. Okay. And then we're going to hit on Monday, and this will be the last one we hit. So this is what Brian talked about in his slides. Now, as a branch or new district manager, this one's going to be a little bit different. Okay. This was a message recorded for district managers. So first thing I would say is staff meetings. Okay. And Rochelle mentioned, you know, some offices do them on Tuesdays. In general, I would do your staff meetings usually on Mondays or first thing Tuesday mornings. Now, most of you all are not going to have staff meetings this summer. I still think it's important to have a staff meeting with yourself. Okay. And even when I was running a branch office and I had 2 people on my staff, okay, just some things that should, and by the way, when I say staff meeting, what are some things that should happen during a planning meeting for your office or a staff meeting? Like, pretend that you don't have a staff. What are just some things or reports or things that I should do and look at during that little 30-minute to an hour planning session with myself? Yeah. Let me go to Mason.
I would say you'd want to review statistics of the last week.
Yep. What are some good statistics to review? Who knows?
PRs set, how many people signed, set for training.
Yep. Lindsay, you gonna add some stuff?
Yeah, I was gonna say like show, day 1, day 2, transition, interview, signed, just all the stats that are important.
Cool. On Vector Live, I would write these down. Ready? Okay. I would write down a manager efficiency report. That is your report to see the cycle stats. So it will show you your shows to interviews, your shows to training, your launches from training, all in one report. Okay. This is on the Vector Live report section. Managers efficiency report, the receptionist statistics, okay, which will give you all the stats of all your callers, their set numbers, their show numbers. And then the cycle report. Those are kind of like the 3 reports that I'd be looking at typically: manager efficiency report, receptionist statistics, and cycle report. The other thing that I would be doing in this, okay, and for you all, this is not a staff meeting. This is called Power Hour. Okay. So it's really having an hour in your schedule on Monday night, Tuesday morning, where you're taking some time to do this stuff for yourself, which is like, quickly look at reports. You know, is there anything that, like, hey, diagnose, is there anything that's really off in my business right now that I need to be paying attention to? Okay. Second thing would be projections for the week. Okay. You have to have some targets and some goals and some projections going into the week. So weekly newsletter projection. Okay, which all I'm doing for that one is I'm saying, hey, what do I want to sell this week? Dividing it by, everyone hold up the number. 2.5. Okay, divided by 2.5, and that's how many people I need in the newsletter for this week. All right, I want to sell 25K. I need 10 people in the newsletter. I want to sell 10K. I need 4 people in the newsletter. 4 times 2.5 equals 10. Newsletter being over $1,000. So I'm going to target probably, you know, I want 4 people in newsletter. I'm going to target 6 people this week on my team to get to the newsletter. And I just mark that. So, you know, going into Tuesday, you know, I had a call with Jonathan today. He's like, dude, how do I, like, I just have so many people hitting me up right now. I have the staff, I have our staff for next summer. I have development. I have the reps and the team. I don't know how to talk to and manage as many people. I'm like, well, the reality is you can't. You're probably going to have like 15 is the max. So you got to prioritize who gets your attention. This is how you know who gets your attention, is by actually making this list each week and going through, okay, these are the people that need my attention. These are the people I talk to daily. Everyone else is extra. Okay. But you got to know who you're prioritizing, who you're targeting to like give your attention and energy to. And it's very easy to end up talking to a bunch of reps and then forgetting to talk to your best people. So weekly newsletter projection, rep projections, which is just going down the list and assigning a number and goal to every single person. And then the last thing is a weekly sales breakdown, which I will give you guys a template to use this summer that you'll be able to use, where you can just punch in your goal for the week and it will give you approximately how much you should be selling each and every single day, how many demos you want each and every single day to be on pace towards those goals. Third thing is just power hour, planning any updates in your schedule. So looking at some reports, doing some projections to the week, making sure your schedule is planned out and adjusted. That's what should be happening on Monday, staff meeting or power hour. And the last two things that we'll hit on, and then we're going to come back to this a little bit more next week here too. We have to spend less time on dates. Okay, is AT1 execution, which again, what does executing AT1 look like? Looks like probably 80% attendance from the group. Are you getting, you launch 10 reps, you have 8 there on Monday. 80% attendance from the group. That's what a strong AT1 attendance looks like. I would say, are you creating 5 demos ahead? Again, not like they really got coached well. Like that's not a good advanced training. It's like, did you get good attendance? Did they leave with more demos? Are you averaging 4 to 5 demos ahead in Monday advanced training? And are you getting some social media results from it? Right. And I don't have strong benchmarks on what that will look like just yet, but we will probably going into the summertime of exactly what it looks like to have a strong social hour execution. And the extra part is like, are you influencing their sales and their mentality? That's like the extra part is a little bit of coaching. And then again, having your Monday shift kickoff, like Adrian said, recruiting's got to be the biggest focus on Monday. It's usually your biggest sign day oftentimes. As a branch manager is going to be on Monday or Tuesday. So just making sure you're keeping the recruiting momentum. It's also the recovery day, right? If you didn't have the results from your SMRAs and PR thing on Sunday, Monday is the day where you got to start making moves. So that SMRA shift kickoff is going to be another important day, 15, 20 minutes kicking off your girls on that first Monday there. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to send this, what we covered so far, into the group chat here. And I'm going to stop this real quickly here. Cool. So let's do this. And again, go ahead after this meeting's over. Go ahead and forward your notes out to Eddie. I know we ran up over a couple minutes here. So post your biggest light bulbs and takeaways into the NLG chat, please, for me, as we wrap up here for the day. And you'll send your notes over to Eddie on email. So I would just write that down so I don't have to keep sending that out there as well. Okay. If you took paper notes, you can just send them a photo. If you took the other notes, send them to them on email there. Everybody else, if you need to hop off, you're more than welcome to do so. Call is wrapped up and ended. Thanks for giving me guys attention here and engagement. And anyone else that wants to stay on for some office hours, I'll hang out a little bit for any lingering questions or people that want some extra support here for the next 20 minutes or so. So thank you all for being engaged. Feel free to hop on and or stay on and listen to some questions if you have any. Oh, actually,
I had a question.
I actually have a question. Sorry, Tampa team. Most of y'all still on here? All right, great. Most of y'all are still on here. Tampa, stay on if you're on. Okay. One quick announcement that I need to make. It's mainly just NLG people. I'll post a follow-up inside of the meeting here today, but I've had a couple quick conversations with Scott and Mike, and just out of necessity, I just want to say, number one, thank you guys for all that you are doing in the Tampa office and supporting and just leading the way in that office right now. It's much needed. And for anyone that's on this call, it's good that you guys are doing that too, because this is just really good practice and training. And I also want to just announce too, because there's a little bit of a, too much, in my opinion, of a horizontal structure where there's too many cooks in the kitchen and a little bit too much spread out, too thin, where it's very easy just when everyone's at the same kind of level for everyone to kind of be like, I thought you were going to do it. I thought you were going to do it. And then just like stuff doesn't get done. So I really think there's a need and necessity to have a point person right now inside of the Tampa office and the Tampa team. So nothing will be changing for anybody else on this call, but Cassidy Sanborn will be the new kind of divisional point person and leader inside of that office. So nothing's changing with anyone else's pay or situation. Everyone's doing the same stuff, but that just means that I will be communicating with Cassidy a lot more because I can't communicate with 6 people to make sure things are moving and getting done in the office. So she'll just be the person that will be communicating a little bit more with me, So I can be given some additional direction and influence too. And she's also just going to be like my point of contact in terms of like leading the team. So a lot of y'all have been working with Cassidy. I don't think Cassidy's going to be like, there's not anyone's like boss or anything else like that too, but she's the person that needs you guys need a leader and just someone that can direct the team. And there's multiple people on the team right now that are fully capable of that role. It's just Cassie's the one that we're going to be moving into it. And she's been leading the way with some PR sets and just some other efforts here over the past couple of weeks. So want to give her some direction. So everyone just continue to support that, make her job easier and stuff like that too. And also just know like she's not going to be like, she's again, no one's boss. She's just like the point person for both me and Mike. And you guys need some kind of leader and person just steering the direction a little bit of the ship, so it makes there a little bit more flow process. So it's not like 6 people trying to come together and figure out what exactly the direction should be and take it. And there's someone that can kind of direct and steer the process. And congrats on Cassidy and maybe move it up into that role. So if you guys have any questions on the Tampa team, feel free to reach out to me and we can follow up on that. But I just wanted to announce that here real quickly.